Familiarity, comfort, and immersion. 3 factors that can really make an experience that much more enjoyable. The space around us is pretty important. I think we can all agree, and having a connection to that space, even in a digital environment, can completely change how you regard it, experience it, and feel about it when you're in it. But that connection means different things for different people. Today I'm going to try and communicate to you not just what I think, but what my community on YouTube, Twitter, and Discord thinks makes ship interiors so important, and why Star Citizen was built with it all in mind. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. And thanks to my newest Patreon members Arawar, Atlas Rand Gaming, Hypocrite, Irving Bermudez, Nicholas Chow, Momo King, and Arthur Gideon. To be clear here, I will be using footage from the current build of the game, but I want people to realize as a game in development the implications of what I discuss here will obviously be more clearly felt in the future. And I'll also be hosting a 24-hour stream marathon with lots of Star Citizen on Twitch on July 9th and 10th with events, guests, prizes, and extra entries into my giveaways. Chances are I'm live right now, so click the link and join below and maybe you can win the game. Waking up in your bedroom, looking out the window at spaceships flying by, making your way to the tram, arriving in the spaceport, and walking to your ship. These are all a crucial part of the Star Citizen experience. They build a sense of scale, an understanding of time, and an emphasis on planning. They also familiarize players with comfortable, immersive places that they can always come back to and grow familiar with. But what happens when that experience begins to get stripped away? As you enter the ship, you don't actually enter the ship. You are simply transported inside. You have no clue of the layout, your escape routes, your belongings, or even how your exit hatch works. Your spaceship is essentially a space scooter, because that sense of familiarity is limited to almost just the heads-up display. None of this is to say that not including an explorable ship makes for a bad game. It absolutely doesn't. Games that forego this design are still incredibly fun, have their own perks and advantages, and reasons to play. But it's hard to ignore that this is one of the strongest successes of Star Citizen as a space sim. A game that is all about the ships you fly and where you fly to has to have a distinct focus on those ships. And there is a very good reason these ships have always been that distinct focus at CIG. If you haven't seen my video describing the cost to play Star Citizen, pause this and watch it real quick so you can understand this next part. The link is down below. Star Citizen is funded by its ships, and though you can buy and rent just about every single ship in the game, people still choose to fund the project by purchasing those ships outside of the game. This comes with its own set of problems, but as I said, I have a video for that. A massive benefit to this model, though, is that how these ships are received can sometimes act as a literal barometer to the funding of the game. And it's not a direct correlation just looking at early 2020 with the lack of ship sales but the increase in funding. But this does have a huge impact. This pushes the company from artists to lighting to VFX to audio and especially to marketing to make these ships as impressive as can be, while still fitting into the overarching gameplay and narrative of the story. As you might expect, this makes for some incredible interiors. But this only explains why Star Citizen has ship interiors. Let's look at why we the players find them important. My poll, which was run on Twitter and YouTube, seemed to suggest people were very excited about multi-crew gameplay. This isn't a new concept and doesn't require explorable ship interiors to function. But the ability to move around in any way you please to take care of your job on board adds weight to that job, and to the design of the ship you are on to do it. In the heat of a chase, when you're forced to manage ship shields or get to the turret to fight off the aggressors, you don't get to flip back and forth with a button. You have a choice to make, and that could mean life, death, success, or failure to your whole crew. And it's not just about doing your job either. We all know about the third space concept. It's where we hang out, not at home, not at work, just there. These ships offer a place to relax with friends, talk, plan routes, decide on the next job, play chess, and check on ship systems. This is more than just a glorified entry and exit. It's a way to build familiarity and comfort in a place you have to rely on almost all the time to survive. These interiors are meant to support the core multiplayer social-based identity of the Star Citizen experience. The next reason our community said they like ship interiors is the one that shines the most for CIG. It's kind of a catchphrase for them. Immersion. Let's take a walk through this Carrack. Now let's take the same walk in a damaged state. This is all being done in Alpha 3.13 before the signed distance field-controlled smoke, the pressure-affected dynamic fire propagation, the explosive decompression, the zero-G push and pull, and the ability to lose gravity or life support have actually been placed in-game. Right now, the effects are minimal, but they are there and they really do change the entire feel of a situation. One of my favorite parts of Elite Dangerous was always the canopy cracking from damage. It was terrifying, it was amazing, but it was limited. And going beyond damage, something as simple as lighting states, or being able to see your ship do work, or knowing the secret compartments in your ship all build on the immersive experience of living, working, and sleeping on your ship. Yes, these ship interiors also allow you to take a nap in bed, which is a method of logging on and off of the game, and will be how players can spend days or even weeks out on voyages, living with their crew, doing more than just pressing a button to repair those probes, or keep the ship running, or manually loading that incredibly valuable salvage job you found. It sounds pretty cool. There's also the aspect of scale, a point that also mattered to this group. Something I've always heard with Elite Dangerous is that people can't believe how big the ships are. That when they step into VR, suddenly the scale makes so much difference. Now, Star Citizen, in my opinion, still struggles with scale. While there are some very awe-inspiring moments, especially when ships are involved, the sense of scale you get in this game, whether it be speed or size, does not always match up with the concept art. Then again, sometimes it does. Regardless, there's no mistaking the incredible size of an 890 jump or reclaimer as you walk around them. Another big reason for the community, though this choice was only available on YouTube, is just the love for the idea of living in space. While this seems like an obvious reason for role players, there are also some gameplay related pros and cons here. For one, having a bed on board is a big deal for logging on and off quickly. In the city you deal with trains, trams, and elevators. In stations you also deal with elevators. Living on your ship is like working from home, and some people really like that. Others, like myself, hope to live mobile, finding a new system to call home every month. And this is completely possible again without ship interiors, but taking away those interiors really disconnects you from the actual reality of living in a spaceship. And then some folks just really love the difference in design across the different ships. None of them are perfect, and even some details might be inconsistent sometimes, but they do have their distinct charms, and can be a joy to explore and just add that one extra detail towards building out the world around you. In fact, I have a whole series of videos dedicated to looking at the design, philosophy, and lore of these ship companies, and how they differ and affect the game that we play in. You can check that out in the video description, but keep in mind I do need to update it soon. All these things I've talked about aren't something you can just force into a game down the line. It's not something that just happens because it is wanted. I mean, maybe it is, but I haven't seen as much. The planning and design philosophy of Star Citizen from the beginning makes this a much easier endeavor. The engine has been built to accommodate these interiors, what might happen when moving between them, how they can mesh together, contain other vehicles, be used in gameplay scenarios, create a sense of urgency or panic, create new environments to progress through, and even call themselves out of existence when not seen from the outside for performance reasons. It wasn't easy getting to this point either, and it was often quite annoying. But every once in a while you would see things coming together, and decisions like ship interiors being made early on start to seem like a good strategy. There are a few different features in the game like this, features that required an overhaul of the engine, or years of work oftentimes while being mocked for not making any progress. Features that you can hear more about in my other videos down in the video description or up in the top right hand corner. And while Star Citizen and the development of the game are flawed in some ways, this building from the beginning is what many players consider to be a success. and as the game continues to grow, more of these features are seeing the light of day. And while everyone has their own reasons to love these features, going through all of the comments, there are a few words that stuck out to me. Functionality, immersion, and scale. And of course, all of the above. Listen to some of these comments from the community. The core gameplay on Twitter said, "It makes the ships feel real. It's not just a box with a nice skin. You get to interact with your ship and grow attached to it. In a way, it gives you ship customization even if it's just throwing a box in the back." Lycos on Twitter said, "I think for me it's a mix of immersion and multi-crew. Multi-crew ship roles can happen without interiors, but it's the way they can be done because of interiors that really sets the roles apart from other games." And Christian on YouTube said, "I think the fact that we have the full usability of all things in interiors, most of the parts are not decoration. That is a thing." It is a thing. The tangibility and interactivity you get in the first-person experience with freedom to explore is something many games seek to fulfill, and some even find that decision being a major focus of the game. And while many don't care for ship interiors or any sort of first-person based gameplay at all, there's clearly a demand for the ability to immerse yourself and join others in a place that feels familiar, functional, and immersive. Thank you for joining me for this video. I know this could come off as a controversial topic at the moment, but I think there's a lot to be said about this distinct design philosophy that can shape games, and I hope to help people understand where the interests of others are coming from. And if you're watching this, make sure to head over to my other channel where you can check out a discussion I've had with an elite dangerous content creator about this very topic. If you enjoy these opinion pieces, the deep feature dives I do, reviews, updates, and cinematics, well, I try to make them all happen for you here on my channel. Consider subscribing to make sure you don't miss them. And if you want even more, as I just mentioned, I have a second channel, Space Tomato 2, where things get a little less formal and more gameplay and discussion based, with all of my 314 testing footage also going there, as well as my podcast, reaction videos, and more. So check that out in the video description. If you want to help fund these projects and keep me doing this full time, you can join Patreon as well, where a big restructuring is taking place that you can take part in. For $1 a month, you can get early videos, exclusive chats, monthly written summaries, and more. And if you want to chat and discuss this stuff live, you can join me on Twitch. Oh, by the way, remember that big 3-ship package game giveaway I'm running? Well, we're still chugging towards the goal, but for an extra boost towards your chance to win, enter the code from this video in the link you'll find below, or the inevitable comment aiming to make sure people don't actually watch the video. Sorry about the long outro, but thanks for sticking around till the end. I hope you learned something today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks to my top supporters TK Valiant 15, the Alpaca, Holston Coop, the Huntress, Falcus Vipus, Dosek, Guilty Conscious, Extreme Tuber 7, El Gordo, Stuart Granger, Niku, and Jin.